Is this year better than last year? Ah, what a question. Thankfully, I didn't have to refilm that much content. Y'all, that was so frustrating. First, some really exciting news is Good morning, everyone. My name's Katie, and I'm a third grade teacher in the state of Florida. Today is the first day of my Christmas break. I'm so excited. And you guys are here for a Q&A session as we close out the first semester of teaching this year. It's kind of crazy because I said like first semester of teaching, but I'm also like closing out teaching for the calendar year. I'm done teaching in 2023, which is pretty crazy to think about. So I just put up a question box on my Instagram and on my YouTube for you guys to ask me any questions that you had. I did this at the end of the first quarter of the school year, so I figured I'd do another one just to end off the second quarter before we go into the new year. I fixed my coffee first this morning, as you saw, got dressed, put on comfy clothes, slippers. I did set an alarm this morning, but I'm still taking it easy. I had this past weekend, let me go back. We taught Monday and Tuesday before Christmas break. So today is currently December 20th. So we taught the 18th and the 19th. Last week in school was bananas, so I didn't vlog. The last time I picked up the camera to vlog in my classroom was like a week and a half ago, and I just knew last week, I was like, I can't do it. There's too much going on. We had like the holiday musical, we had a theme day every day, we had our Christmas party, our AR party, we had house meetings, all kinds of things. And so it was exhausting. And last weekend, I kid you not, I went to bed Friday night and I slept 12 hours. And I think this past weekend, I got like too much sleep. You know how like when you sleep and you sleep for a very long time and then you wake up in the morning, you're like, I slept too long. So I did set an alarm for this morning for 7:30. I usually get up at 6 and I still went to bed at like 9:30. So very appropriate time last night. But I did set an alarm for like 7:30. That way I wouldn't oversleep today. So now I'm up, I'm making my coffee. It looks a little light today, but I just tried it and it's really good. It's because we've been using cold brew concentrate from one of our local coffee shops. David will like put the grounds in the water and let it like seep for a couple days. We keep it refrigerated, and then afterwards we strain out the grounds and it gives you a concentrate. So like what I poured into my cup was not straight cold brew. I had to mix it with water, and then I always put like a splash of milk too. So then it ends up, and it looks a little bit darker now, I think maybe, but it ends up looking really light once I add like a splash of milk and then a little bit of creamer into it. But it doesn't taste like I'm drinking straight creamer, which is crazy. But that's just what it looks like because we've been using the concentrate. It's so good. And there's just something about having my coffee it's currently 8:40, so I've been up for a little bit. Something about having my coffee in the morning on my own time just screams Christmas break, you know? So anyways, without further ado, let's get into some of the questions that you guys have for me. Sometimes I separate these and I do like personal questions and school questions, but most of these were school questions this time. So I'm just going to jump right into it. There's no organization. I'm just going to give the answers to the questions the best that I can, and kind of catch up with you guys as we come to the end of 2023. All right, first question is, any advice for students becoming a teacher? I have one semester left and then I will be a teacher. I actually got this question 2 or 3 times, and I am going to link for you guys my first year teaching tips and advice video because honestly, it's not super duper long, and I try to give like my 5 biggest tips as you're about to start your first year teaching, and I feel like that's going to help you a lot as you are on your journey to become a teacher. And rather than just repeating all of the advice, go check out the video that's specific to that advice. I also have a video that's specific to advice if you're about to start your internship. So this particular person said they have 1 semester left and then they'll be a teacher. So I'm assuming that maybe you're going to be doing some kind of classroom placement. So I have a video that I filmed, and both of these I filmed a while ago, so bear with me, but they still have good sound advice and things that I would still tell you right now. So I've got a video for first year teaching, it'll be in the description, and for starting your internship that I'll put in the description as well. So go check those out to get some really good advice to get you on the right track for your first year and for your student teaching. What an exciting time. But I did get that question a couple times, so that's a good one to answer first. Next question was, any favorite Teachers Pay Teachers resources? I'm going to be totally honest with you guys. I do use Teachers Pay Teachers, but I am a freebie queen. Like, I will go and find freebie resources on Teachers Pay Teachers before I think to purchase anything. So if I'm teaching, like, my word study skill is AY, long A vowel pattern, I will go search that in and click on free and find anything I can that's free before I pay for things. And that's just me personally. I don't know if you guys do the same. But if you guys have any favorite TPT resources or sellers, please drop them in the comments below, because we could make a really good list from everybody who watches this video. As far as favorite resources, let me think about it for just a second. Let me pull up my TPT history, and I'll click on things that are paid and filter out the free stuff that I've been getting. That way I can tell you, I can look and say, oh, this was a really good resource. Okay, I just got a really good resource, and it is from the 3rd grade guru. And this is very Florida specific, but we're teaching to the best standards, and we're taking a new assessment that's called the FAST. I've talked about it so much, but I just found a resource for teaching types of poems. And this TPT seller has a lot of good stuff. I'm not gonna lie. For teaching the best standards for language arts. So if you're in Florida and you teach 3rd grade, that's so specific. But I was browsing through her stuff and I was like, this is great. So I just bought that, and I paid $7 for it, which is a hefty amount, but I felt like it thoroughly covered the standard in a way that my curriculum doesn't, to prepare my students for the test, because the test is talking about types of poetry, and I feel like our curriculum doesn't really go over the types of poetry. It's more let's analyze the poem and find figurative language in these X, Y, and Z, which is fine because that's also part of it. But my kids need to know what free verse, limerick, haiku, and rhymed verse are, and be able to see concrete examples of each one. And this product does that. So that's one that I've liked recently. Oh, I'm back to free and paid. I gotta filter it back. Here we go. Paid purchases. I used a product from May's Storybook and did a craft on the Magical Yet, and I will definitely do that again with my class next year to do growth mindset at the beginning of the year. So that's been one of my favorites this year. I did an All About Me activity for back to school, and I shared this in my back to school planning video. That was a Stanley Cup. Can you see that? There you go. A Stanley Cup. Decorate your Stanley Cup and then tell me more about your stickers. And that was, my students loved that. Really loved that. Honestly, that's probably it. Oh, and my skip counting songs, which I shared in my last vlog or two by Learning with Lexi, but my skip counting songs, and I'll link all of these products below in the description. I still use those on the regular in my classroom. So I'd say those are probably my favorites. I also have a few that are editable. There's so many different types of them, but editable spelling and vocabulary worksheets. So those have been good, but I'd say that's my favorite so far. But I'm really a freebie gal. So go and click free and try to find something first before you spend money on it. But sometimes spending money on it is okay. And I appreciate and value the hard work that teachers put into putting things on TPT. I've had a lot of people tell me you should put resources or things on Teachers Pay Teachers, slides that I've made, but I just don't do a good job following creative sharing rules to be able to sell my stuff. So I don't, but I love making things for my classroom too. So there's a lot of times where I'll just make something if I have it in my brain instead of buying it. Okay, how do I adjust expectations without making my students feel like I changed everything? So this was a question I got on Instagram, and I thought it was a really good one, especially as we come towards the 2nd semester. And let me go find, because I actually messaged this person on Instagram to get a little bit more clarification on the situation so I could know what they were like what kind of expectations they were trying to change. So in this specific situation, and I'm not going to give too many details, this is a first-year teacher who's teaching middle school, specifically music, so a band class, and she was talking about how she needs to change her bathroom policy and expectations, and is thinking about using hand signals, and is struggling with students bringing materials to class. And so she wanted to know, like, what are some, oh gosh, the sun's coming through the blinds, let me fix them. Okay, I don't have stripes on my face anymore, do I? Anyways, she wants to know, like, how can she change the expectations, the question said, without my students feeling like I'm changing everything? And my response, and I might just read what I said because I did respond to that person right then. I said, January is a perfect time to change any expectations. And since her students are middle school, I told her to be honest and just say, like, this is the change we're making and here's the reason why. Even if it's just because the reason is it's easier for you. I told her that I'm always honest with my class. And so if I'm having a difficult time with something and I need to put a procedure in place for myself, I would say something like, I've had a difficult time remembering who's in the bathroom and who's not. Or I've had a difficult time keeping track of who's going to the restroom, who's asking to go to the restroom. While I'm teaching, I said, adding this procedure in place will help me be a better teacher for you, because there are so many procedures and routines that we put in place to help our students, but there are some that you just need for your sanity, and that's okay. But I think being honest, like if you're teaching primary grades, you might not need to go that far in depth, but I'd say third grade and up, be honest and say, this is why I'm doing this, because it's going to help me be a better teacher for you. And I've reflected and decided I need us to do this so I can be better at my job. Or I need us to do this so I can help to keep you safe or help you learn better. So I said also, if it's because of behavior that they're changing the expectation, maybe it's not a you thing. I said, then I would tell them what I notice has been happening and explain how the procedure is going to eliminate the problem or make things run smoother. Like last year I had to add a clipboard to my bathroom so students signed to go in. And I just had to say, like, hey, I've noticed, and I know others of you have noticed, that the bathroom has been a mess when you go in to use it. And we have to share this space together. And I know you want to use a clean bathroom. I want to use a clean bathroom. The custodians want our bathroom to look pretty clean in the afternoon when they come to clean it. So we need to start taking responsibility for this. And then I introduced, like, you're going to need to sign your name before you go to the bathroom, just as an extra step of responsibility. So if that bathroom's not clean, we're going to look at the last name on the list, and I'm going to ask you to go clean up the mess that was left behind if it was like an extravagant mess, right? Not something that's like unreasonable for a student to clean. But that's kind of how I would explain, and January is the perfect time to do it. Perfect time to do it. But that's kind of how I explain procedure changes and expectation changes. And I don't think they'll feel like everything has changed, but when you come back after a break, it's a good time to change it. Okay. Somebody said, these two questions kind of go together. Is this year better than last year? Yes. I loved last year, don't get me wrong. Last year was a good year, but this year has been better because I know what I'm doing a little bit more. With third grade, we're making modifications to the curriculum to adjust what we're teaching. And I get to the end of reading lessons sometimes and I'm like, boom, that was great. Like my kids were engaged. I knew what I was doing. So it feels so much better. So in summary, yes, this year is better than last year because I'm more familiar with what I'm doing. Let me take a quick break for a sip of coffee, and the sun is starting to creep back through the blinds again. Are you still enjoying third grade? If you were given the option to go back to first grade, would you? Oh, what a question. Am I still enjoying third grade? Yes, I'm still loving third grade. Like I said, I feel like I'm adjusting and I like know what to expect a little bit more and a little bit better, and I'm loving it. I also love my team that I teach with, and that makes the world of a difference, right? Would I go back to first grade? There are things that I miss, and I know I shared this in a video this summer. There are things that I miss about first grade. I miss teaching phonics. We do teach some phonics and word study patterns to my third graders, and so I still like kind of incorporate that in. But I miss teaching phonics like I taught with the littles. That was so fun. And I kind of miss first grade math. I miss some of those core foundational concepts because third grade math, I'm still working on getting better. I feel like I've gotten better at reading this year, but I'm still working on getting better at teaching math. So I do miss those things. I honestly don't think I would go back to first grade. I actually didn't necessarily have the opportunity to this year, but we had some shifting at my school and some first grade teachers retired and there were some openings. And so I had the opportunity to let my admin know that it would be something that I was interested in going to first grade since I was most comfortable and I taught first grade for 4 years. And I decided not to. So I think the answer is I would still be open to teaching first grade at some point, but for right now, for personal reasons, the answer is no, I would stay in third grade to keep the consistency, just because of the phase and the season of my life and the fact that I like the third grade team and where I'm at. Like, I didn't have a good reason to leave third grade, so I didn't say anything to admin about being interested in the first grade position because I was like, no, I like where I am. So I told them I like where I am. I like what grade I am in. Any encouragement or advice going into the second semester of first year of teaching? I'm struggling. Rest over the break. Don't think about anything. Use your planning day when you come back to get a really good plan in place and review all of your routines and all of your procedures. Teach the first day back in January like it's the first day of school all over again. Really reinforce the routines and procedures and make any changes that you want to make. So if you're struggling because of something and you think you can change something to make it easier, do it. Change it. And just know that your first year is going to be a struggle. And I think spring is a little bit harder than fall because you have less breaks personally and less like holidays and all of that stuff. But that also could make it easier. Also, if you have parent involvement, start thinking about how you can get parents involved to come volunteer for the Valentine's party because Valentine's is crazier than Christmas, I'm telling you. And that's coming up in your second semester. But survive, and your first year is hard and then it gets better. So that's all I can say about that. I'm so sorry if that's not helpful. All right, going on to my YouTube questions. Oh, this one was good. Are there any questions you would suggest or wish you would have asked schools you interviewed at before starting? Is it normal to ask them what curriculum they use or what technology is available in the classroom before you start? Yes, those are both very great questions. What curriculum do you use? What technology is available in the classroom? So yes to those. I would ask them if their teams do any kind of team planning together. I would ask what their expectations are for lesson planning, if teams lesson plan as a team together, if you're expected to submit them all the time. I always like to ask them what they think makes their school unique. So I'm always asking, what's your favorite thing about your school? Because it's fun to see like the admin or the teachers who are involved in the interview get to brag on something about their school, and it kind of shows what they think is important about their school, and then you can decide if that's a value that you value as well. So I would say yes to your 2 questions and then just add those. I think I just messed with the camera angle, so I apologize if it's different. All right, y'all, I am so bummed. This looks totally different because I just realized that I clicked like in my camera and I just said I changed the angle and it changed the focus on my video. So the last 7 minutes of my Q&A were all blurry as I'm sitting here editing it, and that sucks because I shared so many question answers. So I'm so frustrated, but it's okay. I'm glad I edited it today, so I realized that. So I'm coming back to sit here and answer the last bit of the questions again. So bear with me. I'm going to have to like listen to the question and then re-answer it for you guys. Why did I touch the camera? It made it blurry. That is so annoying. Okay, where I left off, whereas people were asking me how do I maintain work-life balance to avoid burnout, I've shared this a bunch in different Q&As and vlogs and things, but my work-life balance is so much better now that I'm in my 6th year of teaching. So part of that is it just takes time to get better at the balance. My advice would be take anything that you're working on now and make sure you're organizing your files and your like hard copy resources to make it easy for yourself next year so you can pull a file, remember what you did, and use it again. As much as you can, try to keep your weekends for yourself, and I know that's hard, but I really don't do much over the weekend unless it's something that like brings me joy, like making slides sometimes is fun for me, so I'll do that over the weekend. But just know that it'll get better with more experience, that I definitely had that burnout and had to work over the weekends and in the evenings my first year, but now that I'm a 6th year teacher, it's better. And I know that's hard to say, like just hang in there, but kind of just hang in there. Also, if you're a first year teacher, don't feel like you have to do everything over and above to like the extreme because your students aren't going to notice the difference. So it doesn't have to be a room transformation every week or a groundbreaking lesson every time. So you can kind of release some of that pressure and that burden from yourself. Okay, another question that I got was, what is this about like your family or your house system at school? So my school has a house system similar to Ron Clark Academy, similar to Harry Potter houses, where students are sorted into 6 different houses. Each house is a character trait word that's in another language. And this struck like a lot of back and forth in the comment section last time I shared about it. My house is called Valor, which is the red house at our school, and it's the word courage in Spanish. So yes, I understand that VALOR in English is valor, but in Spanish you would pronounce it like valor, if that makes sense. So everybody was like freaking out, like, you're saying that word wrong, it's pronounced like this. And I'm like, yeah, in English it's valor, but in Spanish it's more like valor, and that means courage in Spanish. So that is my house. Each house, the kids like focus on a character trait. So we have one that's courage, perseverance, compassion, generosity, and optimism, and integrity. Those are like the 6 character traits, and they like really study those character traits. We do activities together, team building activities. It's just fun because I get to see like all the 3rd graders in my house, which aren't necessarily the 3rd graders in my class, and we get to do a lesson and talk about how we can be brave and have courage together. And then they kind of get to interact with different grade levels, and we do like house assemblies, and the students in 5th grade vote on peers to be house leaders. So it's kind of a fun, you can look up like Ron Clark Academy house system to learn a little bit more about it. Yes, okay, this is the last question. So I really was only blurry for 2 questions and then my whole outro. So the last question that I answered was, how can we ever see you teach a lesson? And this one is difficult. I've shared in vlogs in the past that I don't feel myself actually teaching my class for student privacy reasons and for contract reasons. So I only vlog before and after school because during my contract time, I am just teaching. I'm doing what's in my contract. So I can't feel myself teaching an actual lesson, but I do recognize that that is very valuable to watch somebody teach a lesson and to see the ebb and flow of a teacher interacting with students. So for that, I would recommend you watch Maylene Call, Mrs. Call's Campers on YouTube. She shares lots, she's able to share like lots of lessons like that, and I've learned a lot just from watching that and listening to that. So I would totally recommend her channel. I try to share things like on my whiteboard. Like a few weeks ago, I shared how I taught the distributive property and I showed it on the whiteboard. So I try to share things in depth like that as much as I can. If you ever have a question about like, how did you teach that concept? Can you show it to us? I'll try to show it to you like that, but please comment and let me know because I can't do that for like my whole day. I can't sit there and like reteach my whole day to a camera in the afternoons. But let me know if there was a topic that I covered that you're like, I'd love to know more in depth how that looked in your lesson, and I can definitely help you guys with that. But that's my best advice. Go check out Maylene and then comment and ask for like clarification if you need it. All right. Thankfully, I didn't have to refilm that much content. Y'all, that was so frustrating, but it's okay. I'm over it. This is my last video for 2023. It's been so fun to get to share with you guys everything I'm doing in my classroom this calendar year. It's time for Christmas break, and that means taking a break from YouTube as well. So I'm hoping this goes up. I'm hoping I'm gonna go sit back in bed and edit it and upload it today for you guys to see. But I hope you guys have a very Merry Christmas, and thank you for all of your comments, likes, and support this calendar year. It's just been a wonderful year of teaching and getting to interact with you. So here are the 2 things that I'm asking. First, some really exciting news is I'm going to have an intern in the spring, and I've not had an intern before, so I'm really thrilled about that. So first question is, if you've ever had an intern in your classroom, please comment all of your best tips and advice in the comment section below. I've had practicum students before, but never a full intern. I'm really excited to have her join though. My class is so sweet this year, and it's gonna be a perfect addition to our class family. And teaching younger teachers is something that I've kind of been passionate about since I was in grad school. I helped students who were younger than me complete their EdTPA portfolios, which I don't even know if those are required anymore in any states, but I have some videos on my YouTube channel with EdTPA advice too. But I really discovered when I was helping them that it was something really fun that kind of sparked my joy, was being able to help them. So it's always been a goal of mine to have an intern and practicum students. And so I'm really excited that I have enough experience. I've been teaching long enough. I'm having a little bit of imposter syndrome, which I really don't like saying that because I'm like, imposter syndrome, what? Really, seriously? But my heart and my brain are going do you have enough experience to have an intern? And I know I do. I'm very confident in what I'm doing, but I'm second guessing myself. So leave comments below with your best internship tips or student teaching tips for teachers that are going to have a student teacher. Maybe I can make a video about that later on my channel. That would be really interesting. But that was the first thing that I wanted to ask for help on. Second one is because I'm having an intern, I don't know what my vlogging schedule is going to look like in the spring. Priority wise, obviously my personal life and my family and all of that, but like at school, my students, teaching my students, helping my intern and teaching my intern, maintaining coworker relationships, all the things. And it's going to be hard to vlog during this experience because I'm going to have so much going on. So I'm thinking about trimming back the number of vlogs that I film in the spring. But then that makes me nervous because I want to continue uploading for you guys every week. So please comment below any videos that you'd like to see or anything you want to hear more about that's not a vlog. Could be plan with me, could be routine videos. Like, please comment and give me some ideas because I'm like, I want to continue to create content for you guys, but my vlogging schedule may have to like scale back to a weekly vlog once a month and a daily vlog once a month. So like 2 vlogs a month, which is totally doable. But then I'm like, what do I upload for you guys in the meantime? So comment and give me all of your video ideas in the comment box below. So that's it. Yay, I refilmed the end of this video. I learned a lesson today. Don't tap the camera because it might change the focus, even if the lighting looks out of whack. The lighting just wasn't my friend this morning for this video. But thank you guys so much for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe because there will be more content coming in the spring. I hope you have the very merriest Christmas and just enjoy the holidays with your friends and family. And I will see you guys in the new year.